Hi everyone, my name is Nicole Makarovich and I'm going to be doing an instructional video for you today on how to use Autodesk Netfabb and HP Smartstream to basically slice and pack prints for the HP JF580. So just for a little bit of context, the reason that we use both of the softwares is because the default one, the HP Smartstream, doesn't have that many capabilities to color things and to scale them and everything like that. It's just not as user-friendly and it doesn't have much going on it. We use it mainly for the interface between the printers. So we first modify all the parts and color them and everything like that on Netfabb, and then we send it to Smartstream, apply the printer settings and just send it to the printer and let it run. So let's just get started and open up Netfabb first. Also, actually, before I say anything, both of these softwares are free online. I will attach a link somewhere along with this video after this. So the HP Smartstream one is a little bit more annoying. There's like some different servers and clients that you have to download and everything like that. There should be instructions for all of it, and it is all free. So that's a silver lining about it. Netfabb is also free as long as you are logged in with UMD credentials. And yeah, that's a lot more easygoing. You just add it on and it'll be on your computer. Additionally, in the UMD TWAFL, there is one desktop that I know for a fact has both of these softwares, which is the scanning desktop all the way to the right when you're looking at them. It has, I think, it has the 2020 and the 2021 version of Netfabb or something like that. For some reason, the 2020 version works a lot better for me. So just make sure to find that on the computer as well as Smartstream. They're a little bit tricky to find. You basically just have to dig through the drive somewhere and you'll eventually find them, and just pin them to your taskbar right away so that you don't lose those different applications. So just to get started, now that once you open your Netfabb, let's just go ahead and do that right now. Give it a second. So this is your screen that you're going to see when you open it, My Machines. So for my personal laptop, which I'm recording this on, for some reason, it's not that great at it. So if I look for the HP, I click on this. Theoretically, you should be able to find the correct device, but my computer is being weird and it can't find it. But that's okay. If it doesn't work for you, that's fine. If it does, that's also fine. So I'm just going to hit cancel, and I'm going to go the alternative route. I'm going to hit settings one more time, and I'm going to look at default platform size. So for anyone that hasn't used Netfabb before, the default is going to basically be a cube shape, not the one that you see on the screen. I've already inputted the correct dimensions, so here they are on the screen if you want to screenshot them, take a photo or anything like that. But if you don't have them, another way that you can access is by going to the Dizuki. So here's the Dizuki for the HP Jet Fusion 580. You're going to scroll all the way down, and the build volume is going to be right here. So you're just going to copy this and input it straight into default platform size. You're going to hit save, and it's going to apply, and it's going to look like this. And if you look into the HP printer, you're going to notice that it's the same exact shape. So this is perfect. Now let's move forward into adding some parts so that we edit them and pack them and slice them and everything like that. So we're going to open PaperCut, and we're going to look at our new orders. Look at this. We have a testudo. So you're going to download the testudo file or whatever else they give you. I already did it, but go ahead and do that now. Then we're going to scroll down for some more details. So color specifications. It says custom colors, solid colors, specify RGB or hex below. Let me just show you the other options real quick. So there's no color, which will be just the default white because the powder that comes with the HP is white nylon 12 powder, or we'll say solid color, which is something that you're going to paint on basically on the software, of course, or yes, upload .3mf or object file, basically meaning that they're going to attach a .png that you're going to project onto the file, and that'll be the one after this that I'll show you. For now, solid color. So hit save. And the customer specified that they want aquamarine and even gave the color code, which is 0255-255. Sometimes they're going to give a certain code that has like numbers and letters, which Netfabb doesn't recognize, all you got to do is copy that code and you're going to paste it into Google and it will give you the RGB code. So it's pretty trivial. So for this, we have aquamarine. Let's scroll down for more details. The additional instructions from the customer say, please make testudo aquamarine and the base white. All right, so let's open up Netfabb and we're gonna hit add part. And the testudo file, I believe, is this one that I downloaded already. As you can see, when it imports a part, it's going to have a green check mark. So that means it's all good to go and Netfabb likes it. It can register it. There's no issues with it. So we're going to hit add parts. Let's pretend that we're not scaling it or anything like that either. This is just how the customer wants it. So as you can see here, it's currently pink. It doesn't mean that it's going to print out as pink. It just is kind of a selection to distinguish it from one file to another. So for instance, if I copy and paste it and make a duplicate, you can see that they're two different colors, and that just is, the more parts you have, the more different colors they are, and it's just to distinguish them on the software. In reality, they're all going to come out white if you keep them as is. So let's just delete one and work on this testudo over here. So another thing to note, by the way, just in case that your part doesn't have that green check mark, let me just delete floating meeting controls real quick. So if it doesn't have that green check mark, like we talked about a couple seconds ago, we're going to have to repair the part. There's basically going to be like a caution sign that's yellow with an exclamation point. So it will be able to upload the part, but it's just not going to be happy about it. So you're going to select the part that's problematic. Let's pretend that this one is problematic. You're going to click on repair part, this plus sign, and it's going to do some weird stuff. You're going to hit run repair script on this bottom right corner. And we're going to do extended repair just because it's the most extensive. It's going to fix it the best. Hit execute. May take a couple seconds. Feel free to skip ahead if you need to. Okay, cool. So it ran the repair script, and now you're going to hit apply repair, remove old part, and it's good. Now your part should have a green check mark. If it doesn't, but it says that it has a reduced amount of problems, then you can continue to repeat the process of repair part, and hopefully it will give it a green check mark eventually. If it doesn't, then you may need to approach the customer and tell them this doesn't work. And let me just see if you'll be able to see the green check mark here. I think if it's problematic, it will give the error sign somewhere around here. My cursor is hovering, or somewhere on the right, something like that. You will know for a fact that it's not happy. And if it is happy, it's not going to have that caution sign. Anyways, let's move on to coloring. So what you're going to do is select your part. It's going to become orange. You're going to hit modify, texture color. And since they only want one part, one area of this to be colored, you're going to hit paint on shells. And I've already done some practice, but let's pretend that we're going to make a new color. So they said that the color code is 0255 255. I'm going to add this to custom colors, hit OK, and I'm going to hit just on the testudo, not the base. Okay, my Netfabb is a little bit glitchy. Sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it colors only the testudo and the base remains white. In this case, it's not happy. So let's just pretend that it's this case. This particular file allows for the testudo and the base to be semi-distinguishable. So sometimes the coloring will work to separate and sometimes it won't. Sometimes you're just going to have to manually color one color and the other white, for instance, or something like that. Just be flexible, try to see if it works with different methods. And if it takes you too long or if it doesn't seem feasible, then tell a customer that it can't color the way that they expect it to. So let's just keep this turquoise for now. Let's just also experiment with some of the other different kinds of applications, just pretend, and then we'll fix it back to how it was before. So for brush paint, it's pretty cool because you can color some pretty fine details in. So let's use some black. And you should be able to see if I zoom in this green circle. It's moving around. My computer's going to be lagging a lot through this process. But what you're going to do if you want to change the diameter of this like paintbrush is you're going to hold down Control and you're going to scroll up or down with your scroll wheel on your mouse. So I'm scrolling up right now and you can see the circle widening and widening. And so if I click right now, everything is going to turn black, or the triangles applied with it, whatever, something like that, whatever face it's on. So let me just hit Control Z. And now if I hold Control and scroll down, it's going to make a really, really fine print. And now if I move it around and drag, my computer will be super slow, but you'll see. So these are really big triangles because it's such a flat face. So it's just going to color everything in. However, if I move to this testudo up here, my computer is very slow. So we're going to move to this testudo right here and just try to draw something out. It's basically going to color all the triangles within the faces that you select. So you can see that the circle changes orientations based on the face that it's facing. So if I move it for here to here, for instance, it'll be flat up against the top of the base. If you move it here, it's going to be flat on the side face. So it will basically go in accordance to what you're trying to do. So you can see that it's basically coloring a bunch of triangles. It's not going to be perfect. You can't get like a really nice line or anything like that. But if you make it really fine print, I'm going to try to go really small and just color. If you zoom out, it's not going to be super visible, and it's going to be even less visible when you actually print this part, and it will look like just a plain line or plain dot or anything like that. So some applications include for coloring in figurines. If they give you, like, for example, a Pokemon figurine in STL, and they say, please color this like how it's supposed to be realistic, and they give you the color codes and everything like that, and you're trying to color in the eyes or some like fine black line, you can do some pretty good details on that and follow along with the contours and everything like that. It'll be kind of bumpy from all the triangles, but it'll come out quite good. So yeah, that's basically brush paint. It can do different colors and everything like that, and you can change the diameter of your paintbrush. For paint on triangles, I don't really use it a whole lot just because it's a little more sloppy, and it will do like very particular individual triangles. It's not going to do like a bunch at once. So it's a little more hit or miss. If you're trying to color something big though, like for instance, if we're trying to just color this base, you can color all these big triangles pretty quickly. And then over here, you're going to drag and color all these triangles, so forth. So it works if you're trying to make something really big, like a certain color, but it's not the best tool. I tend to use paint on shells or brush paint. But anyways, let's just make this back to aquamarine like the customer requested. So it actually saved the color because I added it to custom colors, and I can just click back onto it, hit OK, and hit this whole part, and it's going to go back to full aquamarine. So now that that part is done, you're going to hit apply to changes up here or apply to part up there, either one. I tend to use this button, and hit remove old part. You hit yes. And now the part is going to be there. And now, for instance, if you try to duplicate it, I just hit copy and paste, it's going to apply the same color concept as the previous one. If you want to make it a different color, either just override it or start from the original STL that had no color applied. So I'm just gonna delete this. And now we have that testudo all set. Let's try and do a different part. So let's go back to paper cut, and we're gonna go to the next order that we saw. is a keychain. So as you can see over here, they gave a SolidWorks part and a PNG. For our case on Netfabb, we found that basically only PNGs work pretty well. JPEGs are kind of hit or miss for software for some reason. So try to get a PNG or convert JPEGs to PNGs if you can help it. So download those parts. I already have them on my computer, so just go along with this process if you'd like. So then we're going to scroll down. Why did they give us a PNG? Let's see. So they selected custom color, yes, .3mf. The reason it's saying upload .3mf is when you finish projecting that PNG, you're going to download that and put it back onto the order. So for reference purposes, for records. So no color code is provided because it's all going to be projected on blah, 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 nothing more. It says, please apply the Maryland flag to the keychain STL. No problem. So we downloaded the files. Let's open Netfabb, add part, and it's going to be the SolidWorks part. Hit OK. Green check mark. We're good to go. Let's hit add parts. So now we have our keychain right over here. And we're going to go back to modify, texture color, attention, applying texture and color to solid models will lose a parametric association to the original model. We don't care. And then we are going to go to project texture right up here. Now we are going to select our texture. So we're going to hit this 3 dots and we're going to find our file. So it's a PNG file and now we have it showing up. So what we can do is basically just going to project straight onto and fold over parts on the sides, basically, is the best way for me to put it. So what you can do, you can change the size and you can rotate just by clicking on this. But we want this to be above the keychain, right? And we also want the keychain to have a bit more Maryland pattern. So let's just make this Maryland flag as close to the size of the keychain as possible. And then we can do position, hit the position tab, and you can mess with the X and Y positions as such, like that. And we want this to be above the keychain. So what you're gonna do is just bump up the Z axis like that. And now if you rotate, you can see that it's hovering above the actual keychain. So it's going to kind of wrap around it. And let's just make this a little bigger because why not? So it's going to wrap around just as such. So you can do other options such as cylinder or sphere. If you're trying to make a ball or something like that, just know for reference, you can do that. Cylinder, projector. This is the most common option that we do. So now you're just going to hit project. Oh yeah, and you can also rotate. So for instance, if you want to rotate Z direction, Y direction, X direction, etc. So let's make this back to 0. Hit project. Boom. Now you have the texture on this side. Awesome. Well, what if they want it on the back side? Let's just do this one more time so that we have the Maryland flag on both sides. I'm not trying to be very particular in this instance as far as making it precise, flipping around the other side. Let's just do this. Oh, position, Z. No, we want, let's see, maybe it's viewing. Oh, okay, so it's above already. Notice how the previous texture is already on that side. So we just want it on this side. Want to move it above to make sure it all covers. Hit project. Didn't work. Apply changes. That's a little odd. You might just have to play around with it. I'm going to play around with it one more time. I know it works. I just am a little rusty on this part. So let's just do it one more time real quick. And if it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. And you can figure it out on your own. So project texture. We're gonna select the flag. Gonna move it down here this time. I see texture backside. I think that's what we want to do, maybe something like that. Yeah, you might have to just play around with these buttons. Doesn't work. I think it has something to do with, I don't know, actually. Hit project. Okay, awesome. It works. So hit apply changes, remove old part. Now you got it. So maybe you just have to do it in 2 separate steps of removing the old part. So now you got your Maryland keychain and you got your testudo. So that's basically the gist of coloring items. And now let's just duplicate a couple of these things just so that we add more volume. So fill platform, distance, I don't care, duplicate. It might be buffering. Okay, cool. So we have a boatload of testudos right here. Let's delete some because we don't want that many. Select, delete, delete. Okay, so let's pretend we have this many testudos that we want to print out for the customer if they requested a quantity of 12 or something like that, or you have just a bunch of different parts. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna hit the pack button and you're going to hit 3D Packing Monte Carlo. That's just the general program that we use to do the packing for us. And then there's some settings that you can do. So start packing from current part positions, fine. Minimum distance between items. Generally, you want to keep this at 5 millimeters or higher. If it's really crammed, you can try to go a little lower, but don't try to get things too close together. Performance, accurate versus fast. It doesn't really matter. There's not much differentiation. If it's really a big order that you're trying to pack into this build volume, try to go for accurate. In our case, I think medium is fine. Doesn't really make much of a difference. Initial part rotation. So sometimes we will rotate the parts to make them more printable so that they don't warp or anything like that. So you're going to hit no rotation. Actually, let me do that first. Sorry, guys. So let's select all parts. So you can hit Control A and I'll select all the parts, or you can highlight all of them. And we're going to hit rotate. And we are going to rotate them around about the y-axis, because see, the y-axis is right here, so we don't want these flat surfaces to be flat basically in this build volume. Otherwise they can warp. They won't be as perfect as if you make them diagonal. So let's do this about the y-axis. You could also do it about the x, and let's up the angle to about 15 degrees. Hit apply. Hopefully, there we go. So now all of these are rotated, and hit close. You want to do something between like 15 to 30 degrees, depending on your parts and how everything will fit together. So now keep these all selected, and now we're going to go to pack. Sometimes you're going to have to manually rotate it too, just because the Monte Carlo doesn't work the greatest, or it makes things seemingly not fit even though there's still volume available. There's also no issue with filling this to the top or the parts touching the base. You do want to keep them far from the sides or some distance from the sides, because those are going to be the hottest, since those are like the metal walls of the build volume. So it's going to keep them really hot, and they have a tendency to warp. So what you can do is minimum distance between items. Let's change that back to 5 millimeters. Initial part rotation, let's say no rotation, so that it doesn't mess with what we did already with the angling. Distance from side walls, let's say 5 millimeters. Distance from platform, like 3 millimeters, something like that. And hit start packing, and it's going to start doing this for you. It's going to move around. My computer may take a bit of a while because it is slow, especially when screen sharing on Zoom. Usually it's a lot quicker though. So if it doesn't work, I'm just going to manually pack this. Oh, there we go. It's rearranging and it's finding an optimal location for each of the parts. And notice how it's not rotating any of the components. Okay, So it stopped on its own. It took 28 seconds. That's fine. It looks okay to me. Hit save, and then close. So everything looks okay to me. Looks fine. Things closest to the walls, they may warp, but in this case, I think we're okay. If you're trying to make some sort of objects that are very flat or very circular, try to keep them as close to the middle of the build plate as possible. And again, don't make them flat. You want to angle them pretty steeply so that they don't warp. Those are the most sensitive to warping. So yeah, like I said, keep them as close to the center of the build volume as you can. Keep them away from the walls if you can help it. So now what we need to do is that there's a specification for the printer to work optimally in terms of the packing density. So you're going to hit platform statistics up here, platform overview, and we're going to look at packing density with object height. Don't look at regular packing density. You have to look at object height, only the selected parts, they're all selected. So right now it's saying that the packing density with the object height is 25.9%, which is way too high. Our ideal range is going to be between 9 and 12%. So there are two options that you can do. You can either space these apart more. So when it's saying packing density with height, it's basically with reference to the highest Z point that the parts are maintaining. So if I start to move some of these parts upwards like this, you will see that the density is going to decrease because the height is going to increase as well. So now we look at platform statistics and it's down to 3% because we move things so high. So you kind of have to play around with this. A Monte Carlo doesn't have a feature where it puts items at a suitable height to make the packing density ideal. So it is just a play around. So let's just move things around a little bit, see what we have now. 15%. Okay, let's delete this. See what happens if you delete an item. 14%. Let's move this down a little. 3.48%. Okay, but basically you get the gist. So I'm just gonna delete a couple testudos because it's a little quicker for this sake. Let's look at platform statistics now. Super high. Make this a little higher. I don't know. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Oh, sorry. Let's select all. 16%. Whatever. Let's just pretend that we needed to 16. That 16% is fine. What you're gonna do after this is all packed and ready to go, we're ready to move it to Smartstream. So you're going to hit File, Save Project As. Sorry, wrong one. Never mind. Ignore that. I'm gonna go to File. It's going to be 1 second. This is something that I need to remember. Export part. There we go. Sorry. Export part. You're gonna hit it as 3MF. That's the file that we're gonna decide on. And when it says export part, it means all the selected parts. So you're perfectly fine. And it's going to take a little bit of time. It might give you some sorts of errors or options. You're gonna have to play around with them. I can't really explain how to troubleshoot through all. I just had to figure it out by experimentation. So hopefully that you can manage to do the same and figure out any errors that come at this point. They occur sometimes, but not always. If they're very annoying parts, they tend to do that. So just give it some more time. In the meantime, let's open Smartstream. On my computer, it's going to look very weird. On the AFL desktop, it looks a lot better. For some reason, mine comes up as very small display, as you're going to see. So please bear with me for this. So let's just wait for this to finish uploading now. We're downloading. Almost done. Okay, cool. So this is what's going to come up now. Here's a little caution sign that comes up all the time pretty much. It's upset about something. So you can hit check, hit optimize. Errors are ignored. Cool. Play around with this and see, but it generally isn't that much of an issue. I know that this file is fine. Let's see, file format options. Merge color and texture to 3MF multi-properties. I think this is what we need, if I'm not mistaken. Let's check this off for now and see how that works. If it doesn't work, we'll uncheck it and retry again. So I'm just going to export it to downloads, and this is the name of the file. So I'm going to hit OK. It's going to take a while again. Oh, never mind. It's quick. Okay. Let's add this. So when you're going to open this up, you're not going to have a printer attached to this. So real quick, you're going to hit printer. Make sure that you're on the AFL Wi-Fi, and mine's already selected to Dusty. Let me try to see, select printer. Okay, well, it's defaulted on. Basically, all you're going to have to do is hit discover IP, and it will find it. If you're sitting within the AFL, it will find it immediately. You're going to hit OK, and then Dusty's going to come up. It has expired agent, so it has this little caution symbol on right now, but that's fine. So let's add the parts that we just downloaded off of Netfabb. So I believe it's this one. Hopefully the color goes through. In the meantime, I will say I'm going to show you one more thing because it's pretty cool. You can obviously 3D print in color. So one really cool feature that you could do is 3D print FEA designs or FEA models. So I will show you that in a second on how to open up an FEA and download it as the right file and add it to here, because it doesn't really work on Netfabb. Okay, why is it bad? Maybe it's lagging. My mouse isn't working. Oh, there we go. Cool. And it's got the color applied. Woohoo! So I guess that box that I checked off is all correct. And oh, actually, this is a bit of a problem. The Testudo keychain did not retain the color, and that's a problem that we've been experiencing lately with projected texture. I'm not going to go into this right now and waste time on trying to troubleshoot this. It definitely can work, and it does. You might just need to go online and figure this out. If you have any questions, you can definitely ask the machine specialist, whether it's me or someone else at the time that you're watching this, and hopefully they can help you out with troubleshooting this issue. Also, so in the meantime, let's just pretend that that's fine and keep going. I must have packed this a little wrong while I was moving parts around, because as you can see, this is sticking out from the build plate. Let's just delete this for sanity's sake. Assume that I did everything, not rush, and everything's pretty. So you're going to see your build plate here, and it's looking perfect. So if you're going to look over here, the packing density says 16.75%. This is going to be the accurate packing density. And again, you're going to want to reduce it to 9 to 12%. If you can help it. This is way too high, but yeah, just do whatever you can do. So now that we have the parts here, let's go over to SolidWorks so that I can show you how to upload an FEA part real quick. So I'm going to open SolidWorks. I ran this FEA already. It's just an arbitrary one that I made real quick and simple that has some cool colors on it. So what you're going to do if you want to export one out, you can, if you're trying to do the von Mises stress diagram, for instance, you could do that one. If you're trying to do the displacement one, let's pretend that we're trying to do this. So you're going to right click on the displacement. You're not going to go up here to save. You're going to right click onto whatever simulation you're trying to do. You're going to hit save as, because it's different from the one above on the taskbar. So hit save as, and you are going to save this as a .wrl. This file comes out as solid and with color. For some reason, this is the only one. I took a lot of research on this, and this is the best one. I'm gonna download it just to downloads, save. Then I'm gonna open Smartstream back up, add more parts. So I'm gonna hit add parts up here, very laggy. See, I have my .wrl, and Smartstream recognizes it pretty well. So here it is. I did not use good units on this, so it's a very large part. But as you can see, it comes out perfect, and it's going to maintain this color. So it's really cool that you can print out parts with really cool FEA models, and you can see all the color maps and everything like that. So that's just to show you how you can add FEA parts real quick, and it's very laggy. So anyways, at this point, let's just delete this FEA for now and pretend that we're going to send this print over to the machine. So you're going to have to squint a little bit at this, but on the right side, we're going to just adjust some of the job settings. So material, that's correct. That's the only option that we have anyways. It's a nylon 12. Fresh material, we can keep it at 20%. That's fine. Always keep the print profile at color balanced. Even if you're using only black and white components, the printer spazzes out and it doesn't do well. So keep it on color balance, regardless if you're printing in color or not. Cooling profile, super important. Make sure it's set to natural cooling. I have accidentally done auto cool and reclaim, or fast cool and reclaim, one of these. And what it does is, as soon as the print is over, it sifts out everything for you. And it's going to work because the parts are going to still be warm for the next 24 hours. So they're going to change shape, and it's going to be a mess. So you're just going to want it to naturally cool in place in all the powder as it's suspended within the build volume. And you're going to let it sit for 24 hours. So select natural cooling. Packing density, I'm going to reiterate this many times. Keep it between 9 and 12%. The lowest end that it can really go is about 6 or 7%. The highest end, I would keep it at 12. Height is fine. Everything is fine. The only alarming thing is that Dusty is not happy with expired agent, but it'll work with expired agent. Don't worry about that. So everything else is fine. If you want to adjust the location of any parts or anything like that, you can do that on Smartstream. It's just rather primitive for anything else. It can even auto pack and all that. So now let's just send to print, and it gives the estimated print time as well. So send to print, and you currently have parts that have not had the wall thicknesses analyzed. Do you want to continue? We don't really care. We know it's going to be solid, and it's not a big deal. Just hit continue. Unless it's a really complicated part, you may want to analyze it. So now it's sending this all to machine. And that's basically it. That's how to use Smartstream and Netfabb. And it's just going to send this to the queue on the printer, and you're just going to be able to run it. So again, I think that's about it. Netfabb, anything else? I think we're all good. And so hopefully these happy fake customers are going to enjoy their parts. So with that being said, have a great rest of your day, and feel free to ask any questions to the MS or any other technicians for the HP that may be more knowledgeable. Definitely feel free to collaborate, because some people may know more things than others, or can fill each other's gaps in knowledge and memory and all that. So definitely do that. Have a great rest of your day. Good luck.